Coming up, a fitting tribute from the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds. See how the jet team is honoring healthcare workers.
Writing messages of unity and hope over LA, the Skytypers take on a new mission. And see what it's like to fly an RV into Miami International Airport. AOPA Live This Week Home Edition begins in just a moment.
Your plane is a valuable tool. With the Genesis Aerosystems S-Tech 3100 digital autopilot, you can rest assured you will arrive safely to your destination. The 3100 is the industry's most advanced autopilot for single and twin-engine aircraft, providing exceptional workload reduction, safety-enhancing capabilities such as straight and level mode and speed protection. To learn more, visit our website today.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Tom Haynes and Alyssa Cobb.
Welcome to AOPA Live This Week Home Edition. We hope that you and yours are staying healthy and sane. Tom, are you climbing the walls yet?
Well, not quite climbing the walls yet, but I'll tell you I'm ready to climb into a general aviation cockpit. It's been so long since I've flown, but most of that is airplane related, not virus related, so I guess that's on me in the maintenance shop. But we'll work through that and we'll get back to flying one of these days. But anyhow, as we move into our fifth week of being homebound, we note that our boss, Mark Baker, he's tied to the homestead too. But at least his Super Cub is just downstairs and he can go flying it occasionally, or at least gaze at it. He's working for us though and keeps us here at AOPA charging ahead too. We chatted with Mark about some of the things that AOPA is doing to help general aviation continue to thrive.
But I think most importantly right now, we're working for our members and the aviating public about extending deadlines and calendars that just simply can't be met, but do it in a safe and, again, responsible way. And I look forward to some news over the next week here about what that looks like from the FAA's perspective, and to get that out to the public so that they can do it in a safe and insurable way, and know that we're working as hard as we can to get the right thing done. And the FAA is working alongside of us to understand what those issues are.
Those issues are things like the extension of medical certificates, because pilots can't get to AMEs right now to renew their medical certificates, extensions of flight reviews and instrument proficiency checks, extending the expiration period for knowledge exams, and the deadline to complete a practical exam as well. The leaders of the General Aviation Caucus have just weighed in with a letter asking the FAA to take immediate action on those requests. The FAA is expecting to release a special federal aviation regulation any day now to address those items. AOPA has also been working on getting funds right now for general aviation airports.
We've got millions and millions of dollars being available to support the infrastructure at airports for small airports. So there's been always a lot of projects on the sidelines that they don't either have enough matching funds or they run out of opportunity funds to really invest in the infrastructure of some of these airports. The millions of dollars are now available for a lot of these airports that need a small fix-up here or there, signing, lighting, whatever it is. And that has been said it's going to be spent in the next couple of weeks. They sent the money out. So a very aggressive package to get these airports some infrastructure improvements.
And AOPA is calling on Congress to take action to make sure the Aviation and Airways Trust Fund doesn't run out of money. A significant reduction in the collection of aviation fuel taxes and the passenger ticket tax, along with some unintended consequences of recent emergency legislation, mean that the trust fund could run out of money next year. And that would have a huge impact on FAA operations. AOPA joined with other organizations urging Congress to develop a solution. So, Alyssa, there is no shortage of things going on. You'd think that maybe everything is slowed down, but in the aviation world and what's happening in Washington with our team down there working with our sister aviation organizations, well, there's a lot happening, I got to tell you.
Yeah, thank goodness our government affairs team, they are working so hard to fight for general aviation. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, general aviation continues to be a powerful tool for delivering critical medical supplies. Angel Flight West is a nonprofit that usually coordinates free medical and compassion flights. Now, the organization recently suspended those flights, understandably, for the safety of patients and crew. Now the volunteer pilots are using their airplanes to deliver urgently needed medical supplies across rural Colorado.
It's just been an interesting pivot. Like any crisis, GA offers a unique solution, and volunteer pilots want to help. And so our job really is to be a platform to plug those needs together with the people willing to donate those flights to accomplish those needs. And even in times, difficult times like this, I'm just so proud of our volunteers and their willingness to help. It's really encouraging and inspiring to see that, and it's neat to see the stories of success behind the scenes too, on the front lines in the healthcare system.
And Angel Flight West is just one of many organizations using GA airplanes to deliver supplies. Pilots from Angel Flight East flew nearly 50,000 face shields from Indiana to Massachusetts. Now, if you know of an area where GA can help during this crisis or are looking for information about how you can help, check out the Air Care Alliance website. They coordinate with many of the public benefit flying groups around the country.
And aviation businesses are continuing to innovate and manufacture medical supplies as well. Cirrus Aircraft has produced over 31,000 face shields and helped develop some essential parts for respirators. Students from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University also building face masks. Instrument company SafeFlight developed an innovative solution to help with the ventilator shortage. They developed a 3D printed splitter that allows up to 4 patients to use one ventilator. Meanwhile, in Nebraska, the aircraft interior teams at Duncan Aviation are using their sewing skills to make much-needed face masks for medical facilities. Meanwhile, up in Montreal, ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization, is working on a virtual corridor or bubble for air crews and passengers. They call it the Public Health Corridors concept. The idea is that pilots and passengers would have some kind of certificate declaring them virus-free, and they would move through dedicated areas at airports that would be cleaned and controlled to keep out the virus. ICAO admits this concept would require considerable help from all nations involved and, of course, from the World Health Organization as well.
While many aviation companies across the country are manufacturing and delivering supplies, a company in California is using airplanes to deliver hope. AOPA Live's Josh Cochran has the story about the Skytypers and how they are using general aviation to write encouraging messages in the sky.
For generations, the Stennis family has been in the business of using airplanes to type messages in the sky. It all started with one brand and one airplane.
My grandfather back in the day was the original Pepsi skywriter. In 1932, writing Pepsi for 20-something years. The company was called Skywriting Corporation of America, and he had 22 airplanes scattered across the United States, literally with one airplane writing Pepsi.
Now the company has 3 skytyping teams. The well-known airshow performers, the Geico Skytypers, a team in California, and a team in North Carolina. The technology for skytyping has come a long way over the years.
Skytyping is done by a process of computer-controlled system that is utilizing 5 aircraft in a line abreast formation. And once we get into that line abreast formation at 10,000 to 12,000 feet altitude, the computer takes over and makes a message as tall as the Empire State Building and 5 miles in length. Every 4 seconds, a letter is produced.
And skytyping is a powerful communication tool.
The messages can be seen 10 to 15 miles around, and usually each message is occupying about 33 million square feet in the sky. And it's in a densely populated area such as Los Angeles, I'm hitting millions of people with one message.
During the coronavirus pandemic, the Skytypers are using this powerful communication tool to send positive and encouraging messages to the residents in California.
Internally, that is something that we wanted to do and give back to the community. We want to give some positive messages. There's a lot of people that are not doing well. I wanted to give thanks to the first responders and healthcare workers that are helping out. We're all going to get through this together. This is a community effort. We're all trying to do the best we can to stay inside, to stay quarantined, and to give hope.
And the messages in California are just the beginning.
We'd love to do this, continue to do this in different parts of the states, and to inquire inspiration and flight as well.
Josh Cochran, AOPA Live.
Well, Tom, it's great, one, just to hear a general aviation airplane and look up and see one go by if you're lucky enough. I heard one this morning. But
Right.
To look up and see a message of hope, like with what the Skytypers are doing, that's got to be just so uplifting.
Yeah, it's great, and I think they're doing all that with Grumman Tigers and that sort of thing. What a neat use of general aviation airplanes and helping people take their minds a little bit off all that's happening from being cooped up at home. And meanwhile, speaking of cooped up at home, we're all missing our air shows season. And hey, if that's you, you're not alone. Never fear, though. The Socially Distant Air Show is coming to the internet for 3 days next week. It features a mix of live content and recorded air show performances from some of the world's top acts. The Show Center podcast and Live Air Show TV are coming together to put it on, and it's all to raise money for the performers and their support staff who cannot work due to the lack of air shows. Donations are handled through the ICAS Foundation, and acts like Patty Wagstaff, the Canadian Air Force's Snowbirds, Adam Baker, Michael Goulian, and more are all going to be part of it. There are 3 days, Tuesday the 21st, Wednesday the 22nd, and Thursday the 23rd. Watch it live for free on Live Air Show TV's Facebook and YouTube page.
And if you can't fly right now, make sure you don't get rusty. But how? Well, our friends at the AOPA You Can Fly Academy have some ideas. They put them together in a webinar that you can find at the address there on your screen. They identify 4 fundamentals you can use to refine your flying, even if you're flying from the couch right now.
Hey, when we come back, flying an F-16 down the Las Vegas Strip for a good cause.
And package delivery by drone could be coming sooner than you think. Find out how. AOPA Live This Week continues in a moment.
There are many important things to consider before purchasing an aircraft. Let the experts at Aerospace Reports help guide you through the process. We combine expert knowledge with our long-standing commitment to personalized customer service to perfect your transaction. Learn more at aerospacereports.com.
Welcome back. Well, sadly, many parts of the South are putting together the pieces after tornadoes ripped across the country. Airports once again in the direct path. This photo from Monroe, Louisiana. You can see a number of airplanes destroyed by the tornado. Further east, Thomaston Upson County Airport in Georgia and Low Country Regional Airport in Walterboro, South Carolina taking a hit. Parked on the ramp there and heavily damaged was the Berlin Airlift Historical Foundation's C-54 Skymaster. It was at an avionics shop to get ADS-B. Now the historic bird was damaged after being pushed into a hangar.
Yeah, sad to see that. Hey, between the weather and the coronavirus, our first responders and healthcare workers are just getting hammered, and we can't do enough to thank them. Well, that was the thought that occurred to the members of the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds while they were contemplating a different problem that the virus had created for them. The Defense Department has canceled all the demo teams from air shows in the first part of the year, and the Thunderbird pilots started working from home like, well, the rest of us, but they can only do that for so long.
Teleworking is good in theory, but in actual practice, after a while, you got to get out there, put hands on airplanes, and you've got to fly airplanes. So about 2 weeks ago, we reinitiated flying operations so we could preserve basic capability, basic proficiency in flying our demo, but then also really more importantly, so that we could maintain the required currencies in order to fly these aircraft.
But they wanted more of a mission than just flying their fighters to stay current.
And working with our chain of command, we came up with the idea of honoring our local community through a series of flyovers here in Las Vegas. The intent for our flyovers here in Las Vegas is real simple. We've been amazed at just the tenacity, the dedication, the professionalism of our medical professionals. And as you know, it's a stressful time for everybody, but it's been particularly stressful for all of our healthcare providers. And so we thought, what better way to show a support of solidarity, of our thank you, of our gratitude, than dedicating these flyovers to our medical community.
This is the view from Colonel Caldwell's #1 bird as he leads the flight past the casinos at about 500 feet above the deck. More important than the casinos, though, the 18 hospitals and the heroes inside them taking care of people suffering from COVID-19. What a great salute to those healthcare workers. Now, flying on Colonel Caldwell's right wing is an Embry-Riddle graduate and former freight dog. Captain Mike Brewer got his start in general aviation and flew for regional airlines.
I was loving my job. I love flying airplanes. I had a great time, and I will try to be an airline pilot again after this as well. I would like to go back to the airlines. I loved every minute of it. But during the time, in your 20s, I got married. My life is no longer about me. I no longer want to work necessarily, 1,000 hours a year, flying 1,000 hours a year, that sort of thing. And it more became about what do my family and I want to do, and what is going to bring me rewarding work. So I flew in a lot of jump seats at the time, And some of the coolest stories that I heard were from first officers who were prior military, and they had all these really cool stories about the things that they did and the things that they flew in the military. So that's where that idea started coming from. I started looking into the reserves and the Guard, and then one day I just looked at my wife and I said, "Hey, if we're gonna do this, why don't we just do this full time?" And so with her blessing, we decided to go full time.
That's from a pilot lounge chat we just had with Captain Brewer. He has a great story to tell. You can find it on the Pilot Lounge on our YouTube channel. Lots of great hangar flying going on there, including this one from our own David Toulis, who had an engine failure in his Mooney.
And so I waited till the last minute. I came in over one set of traffic lights and then snatched my landing gear down. It was a manual Johnson bar,
right.
So it happened really quick. I didn't have to wait for electricity or anything. So I snatched it down and locked it into place before the next set of traffic lights. And so now we're, taxiing up this road going about 90, or 80 going up this road. And like it was meant to be, all of a sudden, the traffic light was green for me. The traffic was stopped on either side. And then Lisa goes, "Oh, thank the Lord, thank the Lord." And then Warren, the light changed to red for me, and people started going back and forth. And now I'm going like 65 approaching that intersection. There's nothing I could do.
Wow, what a great story, Dave. An amazing set of circumstances there, and glad you were able to pull that off. That's quite a feat.
That is. I've heard him talk about it before, and it gets me every time. Yeah. Well, it's something we can only dream about now. Order something online, and a few minutes later, it drops down from the sky and lands on your porch. Package delivery via drone. Despite the demand for technology like this, the drone industry has been stuck waiting for better collision avoidance technology. That might be about to change with a new product announced by California startup Iris Automation. It's called Cassia 360. The system uses cameras and onboard computers to spot traffic approaching from any direction. It's fully automated, including the all-important avoid part of see and avoid. Now, Iris started testing the system a few years ago with a single camera, and they're up to 5 per drone now. The goal is to eliminate the blind spots, and Iris hopes that this will convince the FAA to let drones fly long distances because they can detect and avoid traffic on their own. Cassia 360 technology is available now, and it can make beyond line-of-sight operations like package delivery a reality of the not-so-distant future. While much of the world is locked down, some people are able to safely fly.
That's right. We've asked those lucky ones to share some clips from the recent flights, and Gustavo Yacaman recently bought an RV6, got to make an amazing flight during the checkout process.
I was very lucky because it was a very easy process for me. It is the first plane I've ever bought. So he walked me through the whole process. The plane was in Chicago, and he was very nice to fly it down with me and help me getting my tail wheel endorsement and help me getting familiar with the aircraft. It was his last night over here in Miami after bringing the plane down and getting me all trained up in it. We actually got on VFR flight follow with Miami approach, and we first asked, "Hey, seems like a quiet afternoon. You think we could cycle around for a touch and go at Miami International?" And then at first the controller was like, "Yeah, no chance." And then minutes later he called us back and he's like, "Hey, I can give you runway 9 at Miami. You want that?" And we're like, "Hell yeah, we'll take it."
Miami Tower, good evening. November 905 Zulu Golf, final runway 9.
905 Zulu Golf, Miami Tower, runway 9 are cleared for land.
Did like 140, 120 mile an hour approach. We were doing like 140 in short final at runway 9. Of course, we had like 12,000 feet to lead up that speed, and we stopped on the runway. tower in Miami asked us where we're parking, and we told her, well, we're just here to do a touch and go. And she asked us, do you want a taxi back? And we asked her if we could just take off from the runway, and she said, yeah, go ahead. And we pretty much stopped in the middle of runway 9 in Miami International and got going again. So that was a very, very neat experience for sure.
Hey, congrats on the aircraft purchase, Gustavo. Looks like a very cool airplane. And thanks to him and others who have shared their flights with us so far. After we put this piece together, though, we discovered that Gustavo is more than just a pilot. Turns out he's a world-famous race car driver. Proof that you just never know who you're going to run into in general aviation.
That's right. Well, and that's it for us this week. Thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate all of your comments and likes.
That's right. Stay safe, and we'll be back in your homes next Thursday with the next edition of AOPA Live This Week.
Purchasing your own aircraft is an exciting experience. AOPA Finance simplifies the process, saving you money with lower interest rates and hassle-free loans, so you get into your new aircraft sooner. AOPA Finance, the right approach to buying an aircraft.